I think I'm going to call the meeting to order here. It's 5:33. Good evening, everyone here. Welcome to the April regular meeting of the Historic District Commission. I'm Tim Dowen, acting chair, I guess now. I'm going to please note to everyone, I think everyone knows this, but Sandy, you included, you may not, but this meeting's being recorded. So careful, I guess, what anyone's saying, or if you don't want it to be said, don't. But at any rate, if you're not speaking also, we do ask that you keep yourself on mute, so won't pick up any of the background noise. For our meeting tonight, it's broken down into two sections. We have a public hearing section and a regular meeting. Public hearing is the opportunity for the applicants to present their application and for the commission members to elicit more detail, ask questions, and gain the knowledge they need in order to vote on that application. Once we're done with that public meeting, we go into the regular meeting, and that's where we do discuss and vote on those applications. The applicants can stay, not required to, but they can stay and listen into the regular meeting. But we ask that they don't speak or provide any more information on the application at that time. So that's why it's good to make sure you get all of your information out and details out in that public section. But again, you don't have to stay, doesn't hurt against you, and you will receive any written notice the next morning on our decision, so the next day. So stay around, don't stay around, but you will hear our decision tomorrow. Again, thanks everyone for being here. Does anyone have any questions before we start in on the public hearing? Hearing none, I will look. It looks like we have two COAs, although they're related here. COA 487, 6 Ox Hill, and our applicant, Sandy, is here. 680 or 487, and then Sandy 488 is what we assigned. So 487 would be the application for not the split rail, it's the
other fence.
Yeah, it's the dilapidated fence back. Okay.
Okay.
So welcome, and please, if you could present your COA.
Okay. Well, if you've seen the pictures, the fence is falling down. So it needs new parts, but we want to extend it to enclose it for privacy and safety reasons. At one point, there was near what we're calling the garage, I think it used to be a barn, there was a fence extending from the trees up to there, so that it was all enclosed at one time. We just want to, we're going to use the same, it's going to look the same. It's just going to be more.
So it will extend in size, enclosing more of the area, not just
between you can't even see it. I'm pointing to it. It's over there. It's from the trees to the edge of the barn. You'll still see the front of the barn, garage, whatever. But it will just, next to it will be enclosed.
Okay. Do the members have questions?
Is it going to follow the same design as the fence that is existing?
What is it? It will be the same thing, just actually built.
Wood replacing wood.
Yes,
The post, I see one post, it does have a detail up on the top. That'll be mimicked. Is the whole fence being replaced, or is it just the
no,
pieces?
the whole fence will be, it's gonna look like it looks now. So I don't know which one you're talking about because I rarely look at the fence.
Um,
So it'll look
But
like
if-
it looks now, except not falling down.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We don't want our fences to fall down.
No, we don't want our fences to fall down.
That doesn't work.
It's kind of, I mean, we keep propping it up with things, but it's just ugly.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I don't have any further questions. This seems pretty straightforward.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm good too.
And then 488 is the split rail fence.
Right. And we would just like to remove it. It's another eyesore. It's just terrible. There's things falling down. We've been propping those up. They don't stay. It's ugly. And honestly, we can't afford to put a whole new one in. I mean, there isn't the money. So we figured we'd take it down, put some nice plantings along, so it still looks nice, but we won't have that ugly grayness falling all over the place. And it's dangerous, actually. I'm scared some of it's gonna end up falling in the road.
Yeah. Questions from the commission members?
Well, it's not really a question other than that fence has been part of that property as I remember, which is about 15, 20 years now. So, and it hasn't been in various states of repair during that time. But I certainly understand what she's going for. I don't know if it'll affect the visual impact of the property or not. I guess that becomes a real question is visually, will it change the impact of the property?
I think it'll look better without it personally, but
Well, certainly the part that's fallen down in the front there, the picture one. I do have one question. It sounds like part of that fence will remain as leading up to the stairs. Is that what I'm reading in the?
yeah, in front of I'm in the little house. In front of my house, there's one that's kind of tucked, you can't really see it, but it's fine. And in front of the big house, there's, I think on one side, it's still okay. So, and it's just, it'll just look like it was supposed to be, 2 lengths. So there'll still be some split rail fence, it just won't be falling down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know that there's been, even before you guys bought the property, this is going back like 2 owners, if not more ago. I know that the fence, as Richard mentioned, was always in a state of disrepair and neighbors were frustrated about, I think a car ran into it one night and, made it just in disrepair. And so I think it makes sense to either repair it or get rid of it because the way it looks right now is not wonderful. And so I see where we're coming from.
Okay. Any other questions from the members? Anything else you want to add, Sandra?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Then with that, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up the regular meeting. I have 5:42.
Okay, can I go?
You could, if you wish, yes.
And could somebody tell me how I go?
Exit meeting. Where is the exit meeting?
On your right-hand side of the screen, Sandra,
Yeah.
there should be a
Oh, leave,
red
there's
button
a thing
that
that
says
says
leave.
leave, is that it?
That
That's
should
it.
be it.
Okay, bye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right.
That's funny.
I think we're alone now. Here we go. So first regular meeting action, we will take action on these COAs. So I'll entertain a motion. We'll take them individually because there aren't two. So I'll take a motion on COA 487. That's the back fence, not the split rail fence for 6 Hawks Hill Road.
I move that we accept the COA as presented.
I have a motion.
Second,
I have a second.
Second.
I've got Richard first on Richard seconding, and Greg Johnson is providing the motion. Do we have any discussion?
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, looks good to me, straightforward.
Agreed.
All right. Hearing no other discussion, let's put this to a vote. I think I'm going to go by how I see people on my screen here. So, Reed,
Me, I'm first?
you're first.
Ooh, aye.
All right. Richard Geidebeck,
aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Jake,
Aye.
Greg,
I,
and I will vote aye. It sounds unanimous. And that passes. All right, and so action on COA 488, I'll entertain a motion.
One. Motion to accept the as presented, accept the COA as presented.
So I have a motion
Second.
from Richard Geidebeck. Do I have a second?
Second,
That's from Jake.
please.
Yep. So do we have any discussion on this?
Yeah, I would assume we're going to have some because this is a major change
Yes.
visually to the property,
Yeah,
and there's no way to know what it's going to look like until it's gone. So
I don't have anything with LaCroix.
it's got to make we got to come up with whether we want to let it go forward just because it'll probably help the property, but as the fence is in the condition it is now, it certainly will help the property. But what will the property look like with the fence gone?
Well, I don't have any whiteout to look at that, and I wish I had actually had a plot view of what it actually entails here. She is keeping split rail fence up to the front stairs, I guess. I'm also thinking, I know you mentioned it's been there for the last 20 years, but is this?
Well, as I remember it, it's been there.
Yeah.
It could have been there much longer. I really can't say.
I'm wondering, if it is, would it be historic type of thing here? I know we have different fences and stuff. So when I see the one picture, it didn't look like it was
This is arguable, but I tend to think that style of fence would not be appropriate to the period of the house. It would be more likely a picket fence of some kind. But I'm willing to discuss that issue because I'm not sure without looking it up. So
yeah.
yeah, I would agree with you, Richard. I think it will definitely visually change the property. I do know, however, that there has been multiple complaints over the years about the disrepair of the fence, and that's been upsetting to neighbors. And I don't think it's Sandy's fault. It just was the way it was for years. Like I said, I think a car plowed through it one night, and previous homeowners just never repaired it. So it's kind of a blighted fence at this point. Obviously, it would be wonderful if they could restore it and fix it, but it just sounds like that's not in the cards for them. So I guess I'd rather see no fence than a dilapidated fence. and such a main thoroughfare in the district. So those are just my feelings.
I don't have any problems with her removing the fence. I mean, it seems like a reasonable request to me. I mean, I don't think that we can, the fence is in disrepair and is falling down now, so removing it's a safety hazard. And I don't think that we should be forcing somebody to put up a new fence if they have.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, that's true.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ready to take a vote? Hearing.
Sounds good.
All right,
Yes.
let's take a vote. The names flip around, so I'm gonna go by how they show up here. You must have had something written to say place Dowen last. All right, Nancy,
Aye.
Regan,
I,
Richard.
Excuse me, I need clarification.
Oh.
Voting aye means that we're allowing her to tear it down. Voting no
Correct.
would be keep it, right?
Correct.
Aye. Vote aye.
Greg,
I,
Jake.
Well, I came in last on that one. Aye.
No, I'm coming in last in my usual spot, and I'm gonna vote aye. It sounds unanimous. 488 passes, meaning the fence can come down. Right. So I think last time this was where I got to double check my notes and stuff, Regan, for making sure I properly notify who should be notified by tomorrow of our meeting minutes. And I know our vote, and I know Ken will submit those to the city also, our voting record. So
yeah, Tim, what you just need to do for tomorrow, because Catherine will do the record of vote and maybe, tomorrow or the day after, and she'll send that along to the city. But what you just need to do, Tim, is send the approved COAs to the city clerk's office and to the building department, and of course to the applicant as well, so everybody knows.
and the city clerk would be the Angela Fuller and Betsy Bear. Yeah.
Yep. And then you can send it to the building department, either Alba or Anna, or
Right.
both, whichever one you choose.
Would-
goes
would,
to the same place. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Next meeting agenda is approval of the minutes for our March
Mm.
meeting. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read them through. Do we have any? So I guess let's take a motion to
I move we approve the minutes.
have a motion from Nancy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Regan, second. Do we have any discussion or any addendums?
I wasn't there, but I did notice that in the paragraph, I was wondering if it should say nominate, not appoint, for Tim Dowen being the chair.
It was a junta. But that's a good point. So we can change that. And hopefully, Catherine, you do have a vocal, right? I'm not listening in on chat for you, so.
Yep.
You've got that, all right.
Yeah.
Anything else anyone's noticing?
Oh, looks good. Catherine does a great job as always. So thank you.
Absolutely.
It was a very short
Absolutely.
meeting last month.
It
It was
was.
quick. Yeah. I know, Greg, you always miss the quick meetings.
Yeah, I was gonna say something there, but I thought.
Are you saying that I'm the problem?
Teasing. I'm teasing.
All right, hearing no other changes here, we'll vote on the motion. Go Greg. Well, I'm gonna leave you last because you'll abstain. Hopefully,
Yes.
I'm telling you how to vote. But so Nancy,
Aye.
Regan,
I,
Richard,
Aye.
Jake,
Aye.
Mhm.
and Greg,
Abstain?
and I will vote aye, even though it was a takeover and not a nomination. All
No
right.
hostile takeover, though. It was a peaceful transfer of power.
All right. My count is unanimous with one abstention. All right. Next on the list here is chairman's report. And in my first official meeting here, I've got no chairman's report. I know there's some new business that we'll discuss, so I'm gonna, I guess, put that in there unless outgoing chairman has any remaining things to discuss under a chairman's report. Nothing. Okay. So,
We're good.
all right. So we'll go to old business. And for that, I'm just double checking any of the new business from last meeting. We voted on that. We're going to, yeah, I'm not seeing any specific old business that's out there. So seeing none of that, we will then go to new business, which is, we have two things here and probably a third one that we will talk about. I'm not sure how widely distributed this was, but there was a proposals for some change in the Norwichtown Village District, the UCFS property. Backs up to Lowthorpe Meadows and over toward the properties. It's the old, there's an old bank, I think, in there and some other, basically the strip mall stuff. So they are making some changes, and here's where I'm gonna go to you, Regan, on this, because they did send this out and I wasn't sure it backs up to our property. I don't believe this is in the historic district counting as it, right? But
No, that's correct.
alerting us to some changes that they were planning on making.
But it is in the local it's in the historic district overlay though, correct?
Yeah, correct. So I can fill in a little bit of details about this
Thank
because
you.
I've had some back and forth with the city about it. So so basically what the city of Norwich is looking for us to do is anytime they get an application for something in the village district, they're just looking for us to kind of have a process or a policy of how we want to handle that. In the sense, do we want to see every application that's in the Norwichtown Village Overlay District, or do we only want to see the properties that are an overlap with the local historic district? Because technically we have the authority over the ones that are in the local historic district. We, in theory, don't really have authority of things that are outside of the local historic district. So the city was just looking for us to kind of set a policy of how we handle that going forward.
Let me ask a question. Has everyone here seen the outline of the layouts of what's in the districts and what's not?
I know I have, but it's probably been a while for other people.
You've walked the perimeter there to figure out what was in there. We probably have some, I don't know if it was a PowerPoint or some document that kind of showed that. I don't have that readily available for me to share. I don't know if anyone else, if you had something, Regan, that you would share.
I can, I just don't have it handy. I
Okay.
can find it if you just bear with me for a minute.
Well, if I can, Regan, I've got to take that map I have down to get a copy yet. And if I can get thumb drive copies of that also, hopefully I can. I was wondering then to share them with, everybody gets one, put it that way. There is a lot of material written about the historic districts. So, and I would have guessed that most people don't know that I believe there's 9 historic districts, but there's only 1.5 that we have any say over.
Right.
Norwich Town and Little Plains,
Yep.
and only half of Little Plains. So without this map, you're kind of lost in when they bring things up or where they are. So I don't know. What do you think? Would a digital copy of that, if I can get it done, be
Well,
okay?
if we can and get something, and I know I've seen it here, I just don't have it on this computer, that we'd be able to distribute that, because I know we had a list of all the properties and who the members were, so we could send out notice to them.
Well,
So,
yeah, I've got all that. I can actually send that out to anybody that wants it tonight. If I got your email.
Mhm.
so I would say do that just in case I'm not finding it here, and we can distribute it to the group. But I guess whether we see it or not here, the question is, how do we want the city to treat us when something comes in here? Obviously, if it's overlaps the district, if there's anything or we need to know about it. But I would think
Yeah.
this would be in line with what's the hotel that's over in Yantic that they were working on. They were asking for our advice, our input to.
The
Yeah,
Woolen Factory.
Yeah, the
Right.
difference with the Hale Mill, the difference with that property was that it's on the National Register. So, we can comment on properties in the National Register. The difference with some of these properties on Town Street are they're not in, any district except the Village Overlay District. So that's
Right.
its own thing. And if you just bear with me 1 minute, if I have screen share capability, I can show you a map. Am I allowed to share my screen?
Go ahead. It should be scrolled down to the bottom where it
Okay.
should be in the middle.
I'll just show everybody and try not to confuse you in the process. So bear with me. Can everybody see this map?
It's yes. Now,
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it's confusing, so I'm going to try to make it less confusing. So this blue striped section here, where my cursor is, this is the local historic district. So this is everything that is in the local district. As I scroll, everything in this green dotted section is the Norwich Town Village District. And as you can see, there is some overlap here on Town Street and Old Cemetery Lane and a corner of West Town. And then there's also some overlay near the Leffingwell House Museum over here on Washington Street. And over here, I think that's like 5 Town Street where my cursor currently sits. So there is some overlap between the local district and the village district.
Yeah, I've not seen the map. Well, I have seen it, but I don't understand the spike out that's here over on this side. To the right-hand side, it's a separate section.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I don't even think in the physical descriptions I've seen that.
No, I've seen that in the physical descriptions, Richard. I will vouch for that.
Okay, all right.
I've seen that.
So regardless of the specific areas, it does seem to me that if the city is asking us what we want to do, then we should say that we would like to see everything in those historic district overlays. I mean, the whole point of putting those historic overlays in place was to try and help preserve the character of the area and the surroundings of the historic districts. And if we don't look at it, nobody else is going to be looking at it.
True. Well, the city does look at it. So it's not just that no one else will. The city has a paid consultant that helps review those applications, but you're right, Greg, it's certainly appropriate if we take a look at them too, in addition to the consultant. So I can stop sharing if everyone's okay with that. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And so, again, I would agree with that approach. I'd want to know any of the stuff that's going on in there, and we can then have some input or or decisions made. No reason to not be informed on that. So,
Okay, yeah,
my-
sounds good. I'll let the city know. They're fine with whatever we wanted to do. They just wanted to, have a policy moving forward.
okay. All right. So I'm not sure that was clear to me exactly what they were asking as I was reading through those emails. I
Yeah,
think.
it got a little complicated, and I had some follow-up chats with the city planner about it, just to understand what they were looking for us to do here with this application. So with this application, they would then ask us to review it, make sure it works with our design guidelines, but with the understanding that, this is a quote unquote newer building.
Mhm.
So, they're not going to put authentic historic materials on it. They just want to make sure that we feel like the changes are at least not obtrusive and compatible and work with our rules and regulations. So,
As I read it, the sign, yeah, they weren't going to change any of the sign, although they were going to get rid of the Young Laundry, whatever, and put their name up on that. They did, I think they were conflicting of what they said, because there's some, I don't want to call it beadboard, but there's boarding that's along the front facing down below the windows, above the windows, that wasn't going to change in one of the documents I read. But then if you look at the picture, it looks like they were taking that out, although I don't know how that would look as a mix, because it wasn't for the whole side of that building that they were doing. So as they moved, I think they were moving a couple doors on that also. So
As I
Right.
understand what UCFS is doing is they've already taken over the Quest, the draw center there. Everything in that strip center there will be UCFS except the bank.
right.
right.
Otherwise, it's all going to change.
Is that everything? I thought it was just the Young Cleaners they were extending into.
The cleaners are gone. They're waiting for the lease to run out for the barber shop or something like that in there. As soon as the leases run out, they're gone. And UCFS is not renewing any leases. They're taking over property, except for the bank.
Well, I guess what I was looking at was one of the pictures here is saying, hey, they were going to replace the existing siding, remove existing siding. So if you look at the Young one, it's the vertical striped siding. And then if you look at the picture, it looks like it's only doing it for that one frontage. It looks like there'd be vertical
Yeah.
siding elsewhere along that side, but I'm assuming eventually they get to all of it if they want to make it consistent. I don't know if I've ever seen them not do things in a top-notch way. So at any rate, I assume it's going to look good.
Yeah, I think the biggest change is that they're just adding an exterior door on the rear of the property and
Yeah.
doing that siding change that you just mentioned, Tim. So that seems to be the only real change that they're making.
So
Okay.
are you saying that the Quest place is no longer there at the end?
Nope, it's gone.
Yeah.
So why aren't they doing the siding there as well? In the picture, they show it just on the Young Cleaners, basically.
Couldn't tell you why, but all I know is that they're taking it all over.
Because it seems like it'd look a little odd if you have this one area in the middle that's horizontal and everything else is vertical.
Right. That's the part I thought was strange. But then if you look at that other picture also, excuse me, they have a proposed side elevation, and it looks like they're removing a couple doors. So I'm not sure if that now goes into the Quest area, the Young stuff. But I agree. The pictures above that in the 5 layers that they're showing here, it looks like that's not affected, where that side door is what I'm assuming is, if I'm looking straight at it, it would be to the right. And then, as Regan had said, there's a new rear door egress that's being added here. So,
Yeah.
all right, but that's, I guess, just us discussing that, but in general, what they were asking was, we want to be notified, I guess. I don't know if we would mention that or if it's out of place for us to say, whiskey
Yeah,
Cat, what's going on here?
yeah, so what they would just, so if we want to see everything, then what we would be responsible for then would be sending like a little memo saying, this is fine. We agree that it fits within with the design guidelines. We have no further comment, just a quick little memo, just agreeing that proceed, everything's good.
In past, have you seen where we would have enough time to where a month could pass before we would be able to meet and they'd want something back from us that we would have to do something emergency, a special meeting, or would you be able to handle, in the past, would you be able to handle something like that just to say, hey, this is our opinion here? Or would we want to do that, is to have someone respond if it's a time sensitive thing that they wanted a response on?
Well, that's true. We could just have emails go to the chairman or whoever the commission designates to receive those emails for review. And if everything looks in order, that individual could always just send something back to the city saying, yep, cool, go for it, or it can be a discussion like we're having with the entire commission. It just is up to us how we want to handle it.
I don't want to overstep bounds here, whatever. If someone thinks that's okay, then, or do we want to come to a meeting each and every time?
Yeah,
Well, what would be the time constraints if they give us something to look at, though? Would we have time to review it at the next meeting in due course and then just respond?
Yeah, so what's happened this time, for example,
Yeah.
is that we were able to get this on our agenda sooner, which was great.
Yeah,
So these village district applications go to the consultant that the city has hired, and they also go to the commission on the city plan. So then if they also go to us, then there's, a 3-step process for the applicant. And luckily for UCFS, they were able to turn around the application pretty quickly to the consultant. So the consultant has already given their favorable recommendation to, move the project forward. They were able to get on our agenda pretty quickly. But this was now going to the May 17th Commission on the City Plan meeting because it missed whatever deadline that commission needed. So this is already going to get drawn out a month, just as the nature of the deadlines that the other commission has. So, and it could go that way. It could take a month or two before the applicants can move forward. And that's just the way agendas and meetings work. So.
But nobody expects these projects to happen overnight. You would want them to happen overnight anyway.
Right, exactly.
Right. I'm
That's
just
very
I
true.
wasn't sure if in the past we've had stuff like this come through, and has there been sufficient time for us to discuss it? Hopefully,
Mhm.
hopefully there is, as you say.
Yeah.
So,
And the city has no problem telling applicants like, listen, you missed the deadline to get things on the agenda. You have to wait for another month. It's just the way it is,
okay. All right. So, were you going to, you had already had conversations here with Deanna? Is it Deanna?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So we will make note that we want to be in on notified when there's overlap. So,
And so then with just this application, Tim, do we want to just send a memo saying, looks fine? Because they'll want something like official to
Yeah.
send to the commission on the city plan meeting, our favorable recommendation to go along with the consultant's favorable recommendation as well. So that's what they'll want from us. That's what we would need to produce.
okay. I wasn't sure if it was for this one or for follow-ons here or whatever. So if that,
It'll be for both. So it's starting with this one and then it'll,
Right.
go forward with any future applications.
okay, so I'll put it to the commission here. Do we see anything egregious that we would want to oppose on what they're presenting?
I mean, the whole strip mall is pretty ugly to begin with, so I don't think that it's gonna get worse. I still think though, if they're gonna replace that siding, I don't understand why they're not doing the other part there that's to the right-hand edge, which is where the Quest used to be. I mean, I can understand they're not doing the part they don't control yet in front of the hairstylist, but they've got that little strip there off to the right, which there's going to be vertical, and everything else is to the left is horizontal. It just seems a little odd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Hmm. Well, that makes sense, so we could make that comment, but I guess that's all we'd say. It's really just comments from us, right? It has no
Yeah.
other effect.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
It's for their information.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, Greg. I think it's a little odd that they're choosing to do the siding in that fashion, but you know, what do I know? I'm not an architect, so.
We can make that
Right.
comment, I think, as a commission. I don't know if we have to vote on it or what, but it's a reasonable suggestion, comment.
And actually looking at it, I think it's maybe they do have the hairstylist included in that, because it looks like the brick portion is all the bank, I think.
correct.
All the way down there.
The bank must have a better lease than anybody else had.
Yeah. It looks like the right half, except for the, well,
Yeah, except that little piece on the end.
yeah. So, all right. So if everyone's okay with it, I will generate a little memo and point out that we're okay with this, but we don't quite understand the right-hand side, but that's, you know, we're, as you say, in agreement with the consultants and approve what they're doing in general overall, and hope it continues on for the consistency of the entire strip mall when it eventually gets to it.
Right,
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
that sounds fine.
All right. Hearing nothing more on this topic. We had, oh, and I thought it was in the new business. I'm sorry, I didn't mention. So I've taken over as the new chair. Regan, you are maintaining the vice chair for the time being? Yes?
Sure, I can do that.
And I can't remember if we still have a secretary, do not have a secretary, notwithstanding Catherine's official secretary, but in case she was not able to make it there, we would need someone here to take notes and do whatever. And I can't
I
remember.
think that's Nancy, if that's still okay with you, Nancy.
Yeah, that was me, but Catherine's always been here, thankfully.
Right. And so
But
I
yeah,
think,
that was me in case she can't. Yep,
so I think all positions are filled then, correct? Right?
Yep.
Yes,
We're
we've got
good
a
there.
full
All right.
roster. Do we want to just vote on that slate just to make that official and good?
Yeah, I suppose we should, just because we don't want it. Yeah, we'll make the whole thing official. So I'll take a motion on voting to vote on the proposed what is it?
slate,
Executive slate, I guess, of the HTC, and noting Dowen chairman, Minor as vice chair, and as secretary. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
That's Regan makes a motion. Any second?
I'll second.
I've got Greg on the second. So
do we all vote on ourselves like that?
yeah, I think we did last time, because we voted, is it okay on me, and I voted for myself. I voted for myself after saying
I don't think there's any
myself.
prohibition about voting for yourself.
I know you typically wouldn't, but I thought, who else would be better if I didn't think I would be. So at any rate,
Okay, well, I guess we just do then. All right.
but we'll just over in the general sense here, we're voting on the entire
Okay.
here. So
Let's put it this way, Nancy, if we didn't vote, we wouldn't have a quorum. So then it would
I
be
know.
irrelevant.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, unless we did it one at a time, but I don't know that it's necessary. Like Greg's probably right. Why can't you vote for yourself? I guess you can.
Yeah.
So just
Everybody
do it.
running for every other office votes for themselves.
They say they,
Yeah, okay.
but you don't know how they put their vote in. All right, so I'll go Greg,
I,
Nancy,
I,
Regan.
Aye.
That was an aye.
Oh, aye, yes.
Yeah. Richard,
Aye.
Jake,
Aye.
and I will vote aye. So
okay.
unanimous. Congratulations all. Champagne in the back room later. All right. So next we had, we wanted to discuss in-person meetings. We've been doing the Zoom here. Don't think anyone's pressuring us not to continue with the Zoom, but just wanted to bring this up if people wanted to discuss whether they would rather meet via Zoom as we've been doing here or in person. So thought I'd bring that to a discussion here. Not sure if anyone has any
I'd
thoughts.
rather do Zoom.
Yeah,
So what are you
What-
saying? It's now optional that the town hall will let us come back there in person if we wish to, but we can also continue the Zoom if we wish to. So they're just giving us an option now?
That's my understanding is that I don't know if they've come to us specifically, but I've heard through the grapevines that some people are Zooming and some people are starting back into in-person meetings. So
I would propose that that we continue on Zoom as long as the city will let us, because it's a lot easier for all of us because we don't have to traipse downtown and up 3 flights of stairs to the room. And it's also easier for the applicants because they don't have to do the same thing just for, a 5 or 10 minute presentation.
and I would observe that as long as we have to wear masks, Zoom.
right. With the uptick that we've had recently, I guess. And does the city hall still have a mask mandate?
No, I was
No,
just
it
down-
keeps changing.
Yeah.
I was just down there the other day and it didn't seem like there was a mandate.
Okay. But at any rate, like I said, no one is pushing that. I just thought I'd bring it out just to take a gauge of how people are thinking here. So I think we have a consensus here that we continue on in a virtual meeting until we're told we can't do that anymore. At least,
Yes.
or until we want to discuss it again at a future date. So
Mhm.
that said, it reminded me that my vacation down in Aruba is going to be there. Catherine is saying to everyone, there isn't a mandate. Oh, where's my chat?
Yeah,
So,
she's saying there isn't a mandate, but they ask people who are unvaccinated to wear a mask, but that's an iffy little thought.
right. So,
Sometimes those are the people who don't like the masks either. So
yeah.
that becomes a bit of a quandary. I don't know where that goes. I
Well-
think Zoom is just much more convenient and it's kind of a newfound experience that we should latch onto and keep, in my opinion. It's way better and we
It
should have thought of it
shows-
before.
It shows everyone we're tech savvy. So there we go. All right. So we will continue Zoom.
Yep.
And what I was going to say was, though, that I don't believe I'm going to be able to Zoom on the next meeting, which is May 18th. So does my vice chair want to step into the role?
Let me check my calendar to make sure I'm not also going to be away. I think I'm probably fine. Hang on.
Are you away, Tim? Like
Yeah,
not
I'm
here at
gonna-
all?
I'm going to be in Aruba. So
Aruba. Oh,
yes, indeed. So I
oh my gosh.
offer to take my computer with me sometimes. Not that I'm full of good.
Wow.
I don't know if I'd ever do anything, but if you guys said, we need a quorum, I'd be able to. I do have at
So
least
you'd zoom in from Aruba.
I might be able to do that. I sit out in the Cayenne Terre where they have internet. But at any rate, but if you're not needed, you guys should be able to come up with a quorum. What are you saying, Regan?
Yeah, I'm here. I have nothing. I'm not traveling. I'm here. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And we'll see if there are any COAs. I'm assuming this is the season to have COAs, so I would anticipate,
Yeah.
there's going to be something. So, so that is that. There was two other things. One of them being, Regan and I had side discussion about two Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Where she had noticed that there was some construction going on. There's some construction been going on inside, but now that they had moved and started changing things, and unfortunately to the outside window treatment. And so I don't want to speak wrong here or whatever. So I don't know, if Regan, if you want to take it to say what you would witnessed.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I just noticed over the weekend that it looked like the windows were being worked on, which, you know, is fine. Windows can be repaired. That's not a big deal. But then overnight, I noticed that the windows looked completely different and new and had been changed out. So the old windows were no longer there, and what appears to be new vinyl windows are in their place. I had sent, when I was still chairman, I had sent the homeowner, or the new homeowner, because the property just was purchased in February, two letters, you know, one letter going to 2 Mediterranean, and then another letter going to the other address they have on file in Hartford or West Hartford, one of those. You know, the generic letter that we send out, welcome to the district, these are the rules, blah, 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 that sort of thing. I had the good fortune of finally, for the first time, meeting the homeowner over the weekend, and I gave him a copy of our design guidelines, and, you know, just reiterated the process. You know, anything on the exterior that is changed needs to come before the commission, and you know, I gave him the whole spiel, and he kept assuring me that they were just repairing the windows and not replacing them. So, you know, I was taking him at face value. I know I'm a trusting person, you know, what can I say? But then, yeah, then I did obviously the next day notice.
But you did watch.
Yeah, well, it's hard not to. They're in my backyard.
Well, we've had multiple problems that several members here would not remember. Scott almost came to blows with the guy. And first of all, I would start the activity if you need a permit to do what he's doing, get a cease and desist. Don't even take a middle step. Just go for it.
Yeah. So the building department was informed, and they put a letter on his door saying he needs to stop work. So that's all we know at this point.
Okay, so now we have to watch if he works. Right.
And that's likely why we did not hear anything about it, is because I think you had mentioned they had not pulled a permit for that. So had they pulled a permit, I think building department has been good of late, and recognized it would have been in our district and would have notified us and notified them. So so right now it looks like it's in the building department, and then we'll deal with it as they deal with it, either to if they want to get a permit and go through, eventually it's going to come through us. And if they don't want to follow through, I guess then we get attorney
Driscoll.
involved. Yep.
Yeah, well, aren't they done with their work? Two windows were completed, it seems like, Regan.
I don't know where they are in the state of their construction project. I don't know. I just know that one day I went to bed and all the old windows were there, and I woke up the next day and looked out the window because they're in my backyard and saw all the windows changed. So
They had some very nice windows on one side there.
Yeah.
This is the house that's the first one up on the left, so it's kind of
Yeah,
right on the corner there, Regan.
It's kind of set back a little bit, Greg.
It's the White House, or you talk about the one that's back behind you?
The one directly behind me, set back a little bit.
Okay, that was very dilapidated looking.
Correct,
It's
correct.
a pretty big house. Yeah, it always amazes me that that's considered Mediterranean because you can't get to it from Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't really understand it either.
So at any rate, that was late breaking, so that's why it was not on the regular meeting agenda. But note that the building department has been notified, and these people have been notified from the building department. So anticipate we'll hear more in the coming months.
yeah. Hate dealing with this guy.
Yeah, and then the last thing I had on that was, Regan, you had mentioned the warm welcome kit of providing our new design guidelines and stuff. I think there are a couple properties that are on the market here, and we want to make sure I'll make sure that the recent purchasers and the real estate agents are informed of where we see that. They've got the documentation from us and notification that people buying in the neighborhood have to conform to our district rules.
Yeah, and I will also say, if there's any members of the commission who wants a copy of the design guidelines, I've got like 2 boxes full of copies, so I'm happy to just share those with anybody who wants them.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are those posted online on the website?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I finally got the city to do that. Yes.
Well,
Okay.
that said, that was part of a lot of the things that we were going tech with. They were going to put some other things up online, correct? I haven't double checked to see if if everything that we are going to get links to or whatever have been added, or is that?
Yeah, I checked, I can check again, but I checked like last month, and they had done everything that I had asked, at least everything that was outstanding that I had asked them to do.
Okay. All
I
right.
did see the design guidelines posted. They posted it in 2 places, which I thought was fine, because I want people to see it,
Yep.
the more you see it, the better. So I think everything looks okay on the website as far as what I know needed to go on from previous meetings. So unless there's any changes, there's a lovely new gentleman working on the website for the city, and he was so responsive, and it was wonderful to work with him. So I'm happy to forward any requests on to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So everyone take a look at that. And if you have any comments, get those in. That is all I have under new business. So I'm going to ask for any last nickels. Anyone got a? Hearing none. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 18th, with or without me. So we'll assume it's going to continue on. It'll be virtual. So,
Right.
and with that, I'll look at that, 6:31, right on,
Good job, Tim.
right on an hour. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
So a motion to adjourn from Greg. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And we'll just do an audible call. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Hearing that, I note that the meeting adjourned at 6:32 p.m.
Nice
All
job,
right.
Tim. Well
Yay.
done.
Good job, Tim. Yay, Tim, chairman.
You guys, some of you guys missed it. I had to clean out the back because I had
Oh,
Yeah, did she ahead back
had-
there?
my Bob Ross Chia Pet or whatever.
oh my
What did you
goodness.
get the
Yeah,
next
take
time?
that down. They're gonna take that one down. All right. Good job.
No. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right.
Good night, everyone.
See you next month.
Bye
if
now.
Not before. All right.
Okay.
Sure. Leave.